Hello.
Then. Now.
Down to the queens.
Episode number 500.
Forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Yes, I know. I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm not even gonna, do the usual spiel. I'm just, we're here, episode number 205 of the TEW IX Challenge Run. Last week on the show, just 7 days ago, this is what happened. It was the fallout from SummerSlam, and we continued the build to Clash in Paris tonight. Yeah, CM Punk and John Cena is the main event of Clash in Paris. Lara Valkyria versus The Man Insane. I think those are the only two matches I had announced at this moment in time. Tonight, we're going to find out who challenges Bianca Belair for the WWE Women's Championship on that show with a 10-woman Battle Royal. We also have some other matches. I know Tola Tonga versus Zergis was one that I announced. I think that might be the only other match other than the Battle Royal. And we have a whole lot more, including Roman Reigns is back in the building. He's going to call out Paul Heyman at the end of the night. And yeah, without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. Okay, so, I've had this show booked in for 3 weeks on the game. I just haven't recorded it yet. So, forgive me if I stutter over myself and forget some things. But I'm pretty sure I watched last week's Raw back like 2 days ago to remember myself where the fuck I was. But yes, CM Punk opens the show. Just CM Punk. John Cena's not here this week. And he goes, "Boy, is it great to be alive on a Monday night in Charlotte or what?" I'm feeling great, everybody. Because last week, I managed to do something not just for myself, but for everybody. Because all I've heard all year was, when is CM Punk and John Cena gonna wrestle again? This is John Cena's retirement tour. You can't have John Cena's retirement tour without CM Punk. And we now have our answer. September 6th, Paris, France. Clash in Paris in front of what could be one of the most hostile live crowds of the entire year. CM Punk and John Cena one last time for the WWE Championship. My WWE Championship. Now, John, he's a very humble guy. And while me and John may have respect for each other, we may be friends now, myself and John, we're a lot different to each other, even though we have the same ideas. John came out here last week and he talked about how this championship reign was not just for him, it was for all of you, and it was for those who come here after he does. For the future generations, the same thing that I came back to establish. Sure, I went about it a little bit of a different way, and I created this Frankenstein monster that we're going to have to deal with, and I'm still trying to deal with, but for now, it's time I did things for myself. Because, John, with all due respect, we saw how desperate you became. You and I were, what, a year apart in age? We're the same age, John. When people see John Cena's hanging it up, when people see Daniel Bryan hanging it up, eyes naturally turn to CM Punk and say, when's CM Punk gonna hang it up? But I feel great. I've never felt better, John, whereas you've never felt worse, if I could say so myself. And I believe you tell these people that, honestly, to their face, as you have so many times this year. But here's the problem of that, John. Congratulations, you got your 17th World Championship. But the threat of the next generation continues to loom, because Bronson Steiner He's Mr. Money in the Bank. He can cash that in whenever he wants. And if he takes that championship, then we're right back to where we started. And John, you can't be the champion because you won't be able to stop a guy like that. Whereas I can. I know all about Bronson Steiner. I've spent the last year alongside Bronson Steiner. So, John, it's nothing personal. But at Clash in Paris, this goes beyond just you and I. This fight between two of the best of their generation has implications for the future of this industry. And John, you can live out the rest of your retirement tour in peace. After Paris, after you and I do the dance one last time, and after I win back my WWE Championship, hoist it up high, and tell the entire world that my name is CM Punk, and I'm still here for the same reasons I came back, to cure the poison. So, John, I'm gonna bring the very best version of CM Punk to Paris. And I saw you at SummerSlam. I didn't think you had what it takes to beat Chad Gable, and you did it. Congratulations. Bring that, John Cena. But this time, you're not going to have an exposed turnbuckle to bail you out. Because the real best in the world is here one final time. Because everybody knows every time we face off, I win. I'll see you in Paris, friend. Bring the championship. And more importantly, bring John Cena. And he leaves. We then cut backstage. We see Obafemi storming through the hallway. And he bumps into Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho just chatting backstage. And he grabs Rey, he sort of pins Rey up against the wall. And Rey starts screaming. Jericho's like, hey, put him down, put him down. And he goes, where is Dominic? And Rey goes, I don't know. He goes, where is your son? Rey, why are you protecting your son from me? And he drops Rey on the floor. And Rey goes, oh, but I understand. You're frustrated. You're pissed. Dominic's his own man. I didn't free Dominic from Christian so I could take control of his career again. I did it so he could take control of his own career instead of letting somebody else tell him what to do. And last week, stupid or not, Dominic made his own decision. He's his own man. I don't know where he is. I know, but it snarls at him. And Jericho goes, I did hear, though, that he is going to be in action tonight against Big Bronson Reed. So, start there. I know, but it sort of just snarls at them both and walks off. And then Ray sort of looks at Jericho and he goes, what? He's his own man. He made his own problems. But Obafemi on the hunt for, as we all remember last week, Dominic Mysterio jumped him with a steel chair. 73, Zergus and Tula Tonga don't seem to click. Alas. But trying to contain your excitement as Tula Tonga picks up the win. He defeats Zergus with a head trinker in 9:56. 65 for Zergus, 64 for Tula Tonga. And yeah, the Gorillas of Destiny are now on Raw. They came over in the Superstar Shake-Up, whatever I called it. I think it was literally the Superstar Shake-Up. And yeah, winning ways for the tallest Tonga. If his name wasn't obvious, he's called Tula Tonga because he's tall. And he's the taller Tonga. And he beats the dragon here tonight. Then cut to Tegan backstage. She's in the doctor's office. Dakota walks in. And she goes, hey, Doc, how's she holding up? And the doctor goes, she's actually doing a lot better than I thought she was, Last week, we couldn't really get a scope on what happened to her. But it seems she's going to be cleared. and she'll be cleared in time. This time next week she should be good to go. And because that's great. Well, if you excuse me, I have some business to attend to. And he goes, hey, where are you going? And she goes, look, the doctors have got you covered, okay? I need to go back to the ring, and I need to call out the woman who did this. And then, obviously, Dakota leaves to head to the ring at some point. I don't think it's up next, but at some point in the show, she will be out in the ring. Mr. Charlotte makes his way out to the ring. He has the I don't know what the Charlotte football team is. Let me quickly Google it. Charlotte NFL team. Carolina Panthers. Yeah, he has the Carolina Panthers belt around his waist, and he has the Carolina Panthers themed mask. As you can see, I've put him in the Panther mask, so 3 weeks ago I did Google that when I booked the show in. And he goes, Charlotte, North Carolina! Your local hero, Mr. Charlotte, is here once again. Now, last week in Brooklyn, I thought I'd found my people. But it turns out, after much more digging into my family tree, it turns out I was never from Brooklyn. My hometown is right here in Charlotte. So now I stand before you, Mr. Charlotte, and it's time to really kick on my career here on Monday Night Raw. So anybody else back there who wants a piece of me in my real hometown, come and get some. Drew McIntyre kicks Mr. Charlotte's head off in 5 minutes with a Claymore. 78 for Drew, 60 for Mr. Charlotte. I forgot about this character. It's funny, yeah. But Mr. Charlotte loses again. Drew McIntyre this time picks up the win. And he goes to the top rope, he hits his pose, the pyro's going off and all that when LA Knight's music hit. And he comes out onto the ramp. And Drew sort of glares at him, and LA Knight's got the mic. He goes, let me talk to you. Wow, congratulations, Drew. You finally crawled out of hiding. If I was you, I'd hide, just like you did as well, because the way you sort of went out was a little bit embarrassing. If I got euthanized live on television, you wouldn't see LA Knight ever again. But you're back, Drew. You're back, and this time you're not on SmackDown. This time you're coming over on Monday Night Raw. This time you're targeting this guy. You're targeting the megastar. You're targeting LA Knight. I've heard a lot of people ask over the last couple of weeks, why, oh why, did Drew McIntyre target LA Knight? You don't need to look me in the eyes and tell me, Drew. I can read you like a book. I can smell it on you. You've had a problem with the way I've been running things for a long-ass time right now. Why? Because you, Drew McIntyre, though it may have been years and years ago, you will always be the chosen one. Drew McIntyre, handpicked by the people who ran this place, the same people who tried to hold this guy down, looked at Drew McIntyre and said, you, Drew McIntyre, are a future world champion. You a chosen one. LA Knight. Yeah. I was never chosen by the office. I was never chosen by this company to make it big. I had to wait 20 years to even get my ass here. It wasn't those people in the back who chose LA Knight. It was these people here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and around the world who chose LA Knight. Yeah. But you look at me, Drew McIntyre, and you turn into a corporate suck-up. You look at me, Drew McIntyre, and you still see somebody that you don't believe should be as popular as I am, because these people, they can't get enough of this guy. Well, here's the problem, Drew McIntyre. I'm unchosen, but you can't hold me down. Nobody can hold me down, and believe me, a lot of people have tried. You're just the next in line of people who got a problem with me running my mouth and backing it up in that ring. So if you want to run to Monday Night Raw, you want to try and kick me in the face, try and shut me up, try and put me back in my box, because you're the chosen one and I'm unchosen. Then we can do this my way. I'm free next weekend. I'm free. I could use a trip to Paris this time of year. It's a lovely city. And you, Drew McIntyre, if you want to keep running around here, I say we don't waste any more time. We get cut right to the chase. We get right to the meat of this. You want to see LA Knight and Drew McIntyre fight, yeah? Yeah. So if you've got the cavorka, if you've got the tingle in your loins for a fight, and you ain't a pussy bitch, I'll see you in Paris, and you'll learn the hard way that nobody can hold LA Knight down. Nobody can stop the unchosen one from reaching the mountaintop once again with these people by his side, and everybody saying, yeah. And then cut backstage. Paul Heyman waddles into the Nexus locker room, and it's the girls in there. And it was, ladies, I haven't had the chance to catch up with you all since SummerSlam. And Lara goes, Paul, it's fine. Okay, we've got everything under control. Cora and Roxy are focusing on getting back the women's tag team championships, whereas I will deal with Becky. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go to that ring tonight and I'm going to call Becky out face to face, the man insane, and see what she's all about. And Paul Heyman just chuckles and he goes, you know, girls, for many, many years, people asked me, why, oh why was there not a Paul Heyman girl? And I think I finally found the answer to that question. You girls, you've got this covered. You're so well organized, you don't need me to interfere with your business. I will go and deal with Roman Reigns. You three deal with Becky Lynch. He sort of just waddles away. But yeah, Heyman, no. I want to keep him loosely, like, realistically, the only person Heyman is going to be managing is Braun Breaker. But I want him loosely aligned with... He's going to be a lot more hands-off than even Shawn was. Like, the Nexus have slowly gained more independence over the year. Like, when they were CM Punk's lackeys, obviously Punk called it everything. And then when Shawn took over, Shawn sort of called a little bit of stuff, but a lot of the weeks he wasn't here. And Heyman's going to be, like, outside of managing Braun, he's going to be, like, really hands-off. I called him Braun Breaker that whole time. Bronson Steiner. Yeah. Outside of that, he's going to be, like, sort of hands-off. Like, I've sort of already put Oberfemi, because I don't want him managing Oberfemi. And yeah, the girls don't really need him either. Then cut to the ring, out comes Cody Rhodes. And out comes Seth Rollins. He goes, so, Charlotte, North Carolina, what do you guys want to talk about? Last week on Monday Night Raw, it was myself, it was Seth Rollins, and the good thing about myself and Seth Rollins taking these tag team championships rather than being a kink in the Nexus's armor is it gives us opportunity to spotlight and put a bigger focus on the tag team roster here on Monday Night Raw. So it was myself and Seth against Axiom, against Seth's pupil, Nathan Fraser. And it was a hell of an encounter. These are the sort of tag team encounters that myself and Seth thrive under. But then after the match, when I thought we were going to get a respectful challenge off an old mutual friend, Damian Priest. And Seth takes the mic and he goes, Priest, 6 years ago, or 5 years ago, you and I brought you to the main roster. I brought you to Monday Night Raw. You were part of the Church of Rollins, and we've been through a hell of a lot since then. Including at WrestleMania when us two and Cody and Buddy Murphy took it to CM Punk and his antidote. And in many ways, you played peacekeeper between us over the past few months, and dare I say, we wouldn't be standing here today World Tag Team Champions if not for Damian Priest. But here's where we differ, Priest. We do appreciate your involvement in everything. But because you didn't see immediate satisfaction, you didn't see immediate rewards for your work, you took it upon yourself to throw it all away. So, Priest, bring your big ass out here, and let's talk like men. Out comes Priest. Buddy Murphy by his side, obviously. And he goes, Seth, listen to you. It's not hard to see why so many people over the years fell for this stick. Hell, Cody's falling for it right now. You've got a way with words. But that's far from the problem, Seth. Myself and Buddy Murphy, we've stuck together pretty much this entire time, even when you've been out of the picture. This bond is stronger than any bond we ever had with you, our fake Messiah. What I did last week was a long time coming. What I did last week was put the world on notice that I'm not going to sit back and watch anymore. Now it's time for me and Buddy to take. Seth, Cody, I got you where you're at right now, and I can easily take it away. So here's my challenge. If you're real champions, myself and Buddy Murphy against you two in Paris, at Clash in Paris. And then Buddy Murphy sort of like looks across at Priest like in shock, like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't say I wanted a tag team title match. Like, obviously he'll take it, but... Then Cody goes, excellent! Priest, I fear that you've bitten off more than you can chew. Because, sure, you two may be a great tag team, you may be a great alliance, you may be a brotherhood, as you said. But you're looking at two of the best of this or any other generation. And sure, we may not be as experienced as a tag team, but we are two of the very best when that bell rings, and we are unstoppable. We'll see you in France, buddy. Priest. So yeah, Buddy Murphy, Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy and Damian Priest against Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Clash in Paris next weekend. And then Priest and Buddy do have a tag team match coming up next. I forgot about that because again, booked this show in a long time ago. But they do pick up the win. They beat Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly of the Undisputed Era. Priest pinning Roddy with a South of Heaven in 11:32. 78 for Buddy, 80 for Priest, 94 for Kyle, and a 74 for Roddy. Yeah, nice little match. And Buddy and Damian Priest. Not the Church of Rollins anymore for obvious reasons, but yes. We then see Dominic Mysterio. He's backstage, he's hiding backstage, and he bumps into his opponent tonight, Bronson Reed. And he goes, hey, big man. He goes, hey, Dom. He goes, you haven't seen Obafemi around here, have you? He goes, I haven't. No. He goes, cool. So about tonight, I was actually thinking I went to the doctor and they said that I couldn't compete tonight. And Bronson Reed goes, oh, really? Why is that? And he goes, they said I'm hurt. They said I can't do it. And Duke goes, you look pretty fine to me. You know, what seems to be the problem? He goes, I don't know. They didn't tell me. And Bronson Reed goes, I know what it is. He's scared. He attacked Oba last week and he regrets it already. As somebody who's faced Obafemi, as somebody who has lost to Obafemi, you're right to be scared, Dom, but as far as I'm concerned, that's none of my business, and I need to get wins here on Monday Night Raw to remind the world that I can beat anybody. I can become the United States Champion once again. So, Dom, I hope Oba don't find you out there. Because as far as I'm concerned, this match, it's still happening. And Dominic's like, oh, fuck. Like, obviously, we did kind of turn Dominic face. Like, that was the play. But he's not going to immediately stop becoming Dominic Mysterio, you know what I mean? Like, but also in the lie, cheating, and stealing Eddie Guerrero way, but also he's going to take a little bit of time to not be a fucking pussy dickhead. So he started a fight with Obafemi he doesn't want to finish, but Bronson Reed says, nah, mate, we're having this fight tonight. Then cut Dakota Kai. She comes out to the ring. And she goes, I know I've got a lot of things on my mind right now. Tag team championships, this championship, other things. But last week, when I came to Monday Night Raw, I made a promise to a friend. A friend being Tegan Knox, after everything that we've been through, to stand by her side and help her become a champion. And that didn't happen, because she's been attacked last week, and we all know who did it. Mariah May. It was very convenient last week that you just so happened to be on hand to take that Intercontinental Championship match when Tegan couldn't compete. So, get out here and come and explain your actions. Instead of Mariah, out comes Liv. She goes, "Aw, Dakota, I'm flattered that you think it was Mariah that attacked Tegan last week, because, you know, all you know was that it was a girl with blonde hair, right? So, why couldn't it have been me?" And Dakota goes, "Liv, I was going to get to you." She goes, "Well, you don't just get to me, okay? I'm the main target. I should be in the forefront of your mind, because I'm the forefront of everybody's mind the second they see me. Dakota, it wasn't me that attacked Tegan, but I sure would love it if you thought it was. Because that means I'm on your mind. And there's no place I'd rather be than in your head. Because I don't care about Tegan, I don't care about this other petty promise that you've made to your best friend. You are the one that I want. That is the one that I want." And last week, I thought I was going to cause a little bit of trouble. And let you know that Liv Morgan is in your head. Out does come Mariah May after that. She goes, "Whoa, Liv. First of all, hi." We sort of shared a moment last week. It was can't say I hated it. But most importantly, Dakota, I took that offer last week because Tiffany was going to take it, but she's got more important things on her brain right now, like challenging for the Women's Championship in this Battle Royal later on tonight. You really think if it was me that attacked Tegan, I would do it from behind? I'm the woman from hell. If I want hell, I'll bring hell to your doorstep. If I wanted Tegan to know that I attacked her, I'd have done it to her face. There wouldn't be a mystery about who did it. I simply took an opportunity that arose after a little Liv attacked Tegan. And Liv goes, "I told you I didn't attack Tegan." And Mariah goes, "Well, if you didn't do it, and I didn't do it, who else could it have possibly been?" Then out comes Charlotte with Ariana Grande, and she goes, "This is all well and good. You can cut the tension with a knife in this ring. But, quite frankly, with all due respect to Tegan, I don't care. Tegan Nox isn't the Intercontinental Champion. Dakota is. And as far as I'm concerned, the only thing that matters is the Intercontinental Championship, the one that I should have won at SummerSlam, but I didn't. But let it be known, I'm still coming after that championship, and I'm going to take it whenever I can. So if you lot are all going to sit here nigh on flirting with each other over who's going to get a title shot, I'm just going to swoop in and take the title off whoever the champion is coming out of this whole thing." And then, they all argue, and then we get a tag team match. It's going to be Dakota and Charlotte against Mariah May and Liv. 77. Oh wait, no, it's Charlotte and Ariana Grande, sorry. I forgot. Yeah. Again, I booked this in a long time ago. But Liv picks up the win. She pins Ariana Grande with the Oblivion in 12:41. 65 for Ariana, 86 for Charlotte. 66 for Mariah May, 81 for Liv. Lash Legend obviously does come out and boots Charlotte in the face, cost Charlotte, so looks like Charlotte's not going to be able to get anything done with Lash Legend still roaming the halls. Yeah. But Liv Morgan picks up the pinfall win and seemingly puts herself next in line for a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. But most importantly, Mariah May and Liv are they have great chemistry. I'll leave it up to you to decide what kind. But they have great chemistry. After the match, Lash Legend is back out. She boots Charlotte again. She nails her with the lash extension. She walks off again. Just brushing her hair aside. Doing bougie bully things. Lash leaves Charlotte laying for the second week in a row. Then cut backstage. After there's an ad break after that, and we cut back, and Mariah and Liv are celebrating their tag team win when they bump into Tiffany Stratton, who's getting ready for the Battle Royal. And I goes, "Tiffy, look, if the Intercontinental Championship, it's going to be coming home soon." And Tiffy goes, "Yeah, I saw you out there with your new partner." And Liv goes, "Aw, you're not jealous, are you?" Tiffy goes, "Why would I be jealous? You're jealous that I'm stealing your girl away from you." Tiffy goes, "You're not stealing anyone away from me. Okay, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to win the Battle Royal, and I'm going to become WWE Women's Champion." And Liv just like, "Ha ha ha ha. Yeah, sure you are, Tiffy. Meanwhile, I'm actually going to become Intercontinental Champion. And that's going to look nice on one arm. And your girl is going to look nice on the other. And you can sit there as a loser and cry about it." And she walks off, and Mariah May sort of just looks at Tiffany and goes, "Well, we did well. I'm trying to, bring the championship home like you asked." And Tiffany just sighs, and then Battle Royal time. Later tonight, I should say, Battle Royal time, because first, there's more women on the show, Imagine that. What a week to be recording this. Lyra comes out. She goes, I sat back there all night waiting for Becky. But I haven't seen Becky, or the man insane, as she likes to call herself. But I'm out here right now, Becky. Come out here and let's talk. And Becky sort of makes her way out of the crowd. No music. She's got her hood up. She's got black face paint on, or not face paint, black makeup even. She comes out of the crowd, not speaking, gets into the ring, just stares at Lyra. Lyra goes, "What is this? Okay? Did I break you? Did I cause this? Are you having a bit of a midlife crisis because of me? I'm honored. I really am. But this is how it feels, Bex. This is how it feels. The entire time, I had to sit under your thumb and just accept being lashed. I didn't even get my name in the history books for the championship. Because it was all Becky this, Becky that, Becky Lynch, Becky Stardust, da 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 da. Now, I'm the one winning. And you can't handle that. Your spirit is broken. The man is dead. Becky Lynch, as we knew her, doesn't exist anymore. You've become this husk of a woman. Because of me. Because you can't handle that I'm better than you. You can't handle that at WrestleMania, the facade of Becky Stardust, this mysterious aura that you painted for yourself, where you could tell us all what to do and we'd all follow your every move. I exposed it to the world. And your response is to do this. And Becky just stares at you. You gonna speak? Have you lost your tongue too? Bird got your tongue? There. Don't want to explain yourself as to why you cost me my moment at SummerSlam. But now I've got to sit back here and watch 10 other girls who don't deserve it compete in this battle royal. And a little thing is I imagine that Cora and Roxy are out there because they are in the battle royal. And when she says girls that don't deserve it, they do sort of like look at her like, huh? But it's fine. Because as much as I would love it to be Bianca, as much as I would love to end Bianca's run, it doesn't matter who the champion is. Because the next WWE Women's Champion is going to be me. But I've got more important things to deal with in Paris. And that's showing the world that you can put as much paint on a dead horse as you want. It's still a dead horse. And that the man insane is going to be the next in line of a long list of Becky Lynch failures to keep herself relevant. Because here's the cold, harsh reality, Bex. You were the man. But that time has come and gone. Now you are my shadow. Because the legacy of Lyra Valkyria, the legacy of the Raven Queen, is going to keep growing and growing and growing, while the legacy of whatever this desperate attempt is going to fade and do just as Becky Stardust did at WrestleMania. Die. And she goes to leave, and then that's when Kelly and Billy make their entrances because they're in the Battle Royal, and they sort of cross paths with Lyra like, huh, you know, fuck you, bitch. And then we do get the 10-woman Battle Royal. Tiffany Stratton wins. The match is Alexa Bliss, Blair Davenport, Chelsea Green, Cora Jade, Jakara Jackson, Killer Kelly, Roxy Perez, Billy Starks, Thea Hale, and Tiffany Stratton. The final two are Alexa and Tiffany. And yeah, Tiffany Stratton manages to win the Battle Royal. So she will face Bianca Belair for the WWE Women's Championship next Saturday in Paris, France, at WWE Clash in Paris. We're nearly a whole year behind, but I nearly made another promise. But I'll say, hopefully, we'll be back on track. Like, realistically, I could have recorded this like a week ago, but it had been a while, and like I had to get myself back in the zone. But doing it, I'm now back in the zone. So hopefully, because I don't really want to fall a year behind real life. So I know you've all said it doesn't matter, and I do like appreciate that, because like that means that you're specifically here to see this universe and like my stuff, rather than just there's this alternative timeline where this is WrestleMania 42. Like, if I've fallen behind, But, like, I do appreciate that does mean that you're just specifically here to see me. But for my own personal sanity, I don't want to fall a year behind, because doing fight, I know it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because again, it's my own universe and it's not real life. But after spending 5 years of basically being at most like a month or two off track and then falling this far behind, like, is a little bit irritating. But I've made peace with it, so it's fine. But yeah, Tiffany Stratton, Bianca Belair, she gets into the ring after the match. Bianca raises the belt up high. Tiffany does the belt motion. Can she bring home the WWE Women's Championship at Clash in Paris? We'll see next Saturday. Then come back to Dakota. So she's backstage. She meets up with AJ Lee. And she goes, AJ, I hear that Tegan's going to be clear next weekend at Clash in Paris. And AJ goes, yeah, she would realistically be good to go on that show if, because if what? Because if she was, a part of it. Because, what do you mean if she was a part of it? I wanted a tag team championship match when I came over to Monday Night Raw, and, last week, us and Bayley and Sasha and Cora and Roxy, and she goes, yes, I know. Cora Jade and Roxy Perez will get their rematch against Sasha Banks and Bayley in Paris. But you're the Intercontinental Champion, Dakota. I know you want to do things for Tegan and you want to do things to be there for your friend, but you've got an obligation to defend your championship, and you will defend the championship in Paris against Liv Morgan. And Dakota's like, oh, and there's nothing else I can do, so I've just got to Tegan gets attacked, and that's it, huh? And Dakota goes, well, I guess if you really wanted to, you could also wrestle Liv Morgan as well as be in the tag team championship match, but that's not something I would recommend doing, because, pulling double duty, it's not for the weak. It's not for the faint of heart. And Dakota goes, I'll do it. And she goes, huh? She goes, I'll do it. I'll do both. That's my obligation. Like, I've made an obligation to the company by being Intercontinental Champion, and I've made an obligation to my friend to help her become tag team champion. I'll do it. I'll take it on. I'll do both matches in Paris. And she goes, are you sure? And she goes, positive. And then she goes, all right then, it's official. At Clash in Paris, it will be a triple threat tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. It'll be yourself and Tegan against Sasha Banks and Bayley, and against Cora Jade and Roxy Perez of New Millennium. And also, you will defend the Intercontinental Championship against Liv Morgan on the same show. Dakota goes, great. Time to lock in. And she walks off. So yeah, Dakota Kai doing double duty at Clash in Paris, defending the IC title against Liv, and in the tag team title match. I'm sure that will go well. Just a quick Mega Sis squash match. She defeats Zara Zaka and Sapphire Reed in a handicap match with a Fates Descent in 4 minutes and 2. 79 for the Mega Sis, 46 for Sapphire Reed, 49 for Zara. I do have something for her on Raw. There's a reason I moved her over, but it's not something I can get to right now. So we're just going to give her squash wins. We're going to give her the Braun Strowman, Ryback treatment. Which I guess is weird considering she's already established and has been a champion and has lost. But it's fine. Like, we're reheating her, I guess. We then cut to the backstage area, into the parking lot. We hear there's a commotion in the parking lot. Jorge Santana has pulled up in the parking lot, and he's beating the fuck out of Rouge backstage. And they get into a big fight in the parking lot. I imagine these two would do a really good parking lot brawl. Santana, he sort of got that, like, sort of streets, sort of, like, grew up on the streets, New York thing. And Rouge is, well, he's Rouge. So, yeah, like, I imagine this would be, like, it scored 91, so it probably is really great. Yeah, Santana and Rouge just brawling on site in the parking lot. Cars get smashed and shit. Car windows get smashed. Rouge eventually, like, manages to get away. Santana's swinging, a steel chair or whatever. And yeah, these two former stablemates still going at it. 87. Dominic Mysterio against Bronson Reed. Dom does pick up the win. He manages to score the roll-up victory on Bronson Reed in 12:29. 92 for Dominic, 77 for Bronson Reed, and that is an impressive victory, especially for a man who wants to step to Obafemi, of all people. And, yeah, Dominic Mysterio, he's his own man now. He makes his own fights. And he's stuck by himself fighting Obafemi, it seems. We then cut backstage. Paul Heyman walks into the Nexus locker room. And he goes, Trick, Mello, Braun, Ethan, where is Oba? And Ethan goes, Mr. Heyman, I tried talking to Obafemi earlier on tonight, and he wasn't happy with me. He was looking for Dominic, and I tried to get in his way of that, and he threatened me, but it's fine, okay? I'm sure he'll come back around. I'm sure he's just hot-headed right now. And even Paul Heyman goes, well, Mr. Page, Bronson Steiner and his allies have some things to attend to. I'll leave you to deal with Obafemi. And then Trick, Mello, and Braun head to the ring, and Ethan Page is like, fuck, I've got to... Hopefully Oba doesn't come back tonight, because I've got to deal with the fucker. Next week, it is the go-home show for Clash in Paris. That came around pretty... Well, I'd say came around pretty quick. But in-game, it came around pretty quick. And there's a number of matches set for next week's go-home show, including a contract signing John Cena and CM Punk. You know, they had a famous contract signing 14 years ago. They can have another one for their last ever encounter next week here on Monday Night Raw. Plus, Obafemi couldn't get his hands on Dominic tonight, but next week he will get his hands on Mysterio, but not Dominic. Rey Mysterio versus Obafemi next week on Monday Night Raw. Plus, a former WrestleMania match, now a Monday Night Raw WrestleMania rematch. Buddy Bloody Murphy against Seth freaking Rollins next week on Monday Night Raw. And a big tag team match. It's champions against challengers for Clash in Paris. Bianca Belair and Dakota Kai, you know. I know someone somewhere who's seething looking at this tag team. They will coexist against two women who may not be able to coexist. I'm sure Mariah May will be out there for this. It's Liv Morgan. It's Tiffany Stratton. Next week on Monday Night Raw. Plus, we didn't see him tonight, but next week he will be here. Say his name. Joe Hendry performs his Coming to Monday Night Raw concert next week on Monday Night Raw. And moving over to Clash in Paris next Saturday, we do now know a bulk of that match card, including the WWE Women's Championship encounter. Bianca Belair, still the Women's Champion, coming out of SummerSlam. She will defend her championship against the Battle Royal winner earlier on tonight, the former Intercontinental Champion, Tiffany Stratton, versus Bianca Belair in Paris next weekend. Plus, World Tag Team Championship, a bit of a grudge match for the World Tag Team Championship, as Damian Priest and his friend Buddy Murphy are next up to challenge the new World Tag Team Champions Seth Rollins and the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. And speaking of Tag Team Championships, the Women's Tag Team Championships will be on the line. It'll be Sasha Banks and Bayley, obviously if they are still champions, because they could drop at any moment, considering how active they've been defending those belts. Defending against Cora Jade and Roxy Perez of New Millennium, and Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox in Paris next week. And that is not the only time we will see Dakota, because she also has to defend her Intercontinental Championship on that show against the number one contender for that championship, Liv Morgan. And non-title action, it is now official. Unchosen versus the Chosen One. Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight next weekend in Paris at Clash in Paris. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and last week, you saw the changing of the guard for the future of this industry for the third time. CM Punk brought what he called the antidote to Monday Night Raw. Shawn Michaels took over the antidote to instill the NXT generation onto Monday Night Raw, and now the Oracle, Paul Heyman, takes control and will guide these young men and women to the mountaintop, including Mr. Money in the Bank, Badass Bronson Steiner. And Trick Williams takes the mic and he goes, Mr. Heyman, I appreciate your support, but I don't need anyone to speak for Trick Williams, okay? Now listen here. We're a brotherhood around here. We run things. And there will come a day, trust me, there will come a day where things in the Nexus fall apart. Because we all want to be the very best. We're all fighting for that mountain. We're all fighting for that same spot. So there will be a time where Trick and Mello, Trick and Bronson, Oba, Ethan Page, all of us are going at it. But for now, that don't matter. Because we all know Trick Williams is the man. We all know Trick Williams is the future face of the franchise. But I'm willing to separate that future from the now. Because the now is what brings us all together. The now is to make sure everybody else at the top steps aside so that can happen. See, Trick Williams and Bronson Steiner, Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes, we can't fight out for the future top spots here on Monday Night Raw as long as the guys like Roman Reigns are still around. So that's why we're here to target all those guys. We take those guys out, and then we can do the damn thing and prove that Trick Williams is the best of the best. Bout it. Then Mello takes the mic and he goes, Trick, you and I have a lot of history together. We lost those tag team championships at SummerSlam. But that don't matter, because I'm still him. And I'm gonna be him when the day comes that we all have to put it all on the line to prove that we are the now. But Roman Reigns, he walks around here like he's untouchable. He walks around here like he's stronger than anybody else, like he ain't washed up himself. When we say all these old guys are gotta go, we're talking about you, Roman Reigns. We're talking about Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, all of y'all. At least John Cena knew better. John Cena knew to get out of our way while we were on the come up. So step aside, or we'll make you. Everyone takes the mic and he goes, at SummerSlam, the world saw what we already knew. That I'm better than Roman Reigns. I'm here to take over from Roman Reigns. And now he's running and hiding because I took not only his spear, but his wise man. His wise man became my oracle. And if he wants to call us out for a fight, he ain't got to deal with just me. He got to deal with all of us. Then Roman's music does hit. And he comes out onto the ramp. And he goes, Charlotte, North Carolina. Acknowledge me. And then the crowd goes crazy for him. He sort of like just puts his arm out and just like takes in the crowd reaction. He goes, you feel that? You feel that, kids? Young men. This is your first class lesson. Lessons that Heyman, that dumbass in there, ain't gonna teach you. The tribal chief owns Charlotte, North Carolina. The tribal chief owns Monday Night Raw. And as long as these people continue to acknowledge their tribal chief, then the tribal chief ain't going anywhere. Wise man. My former wise man. Congratulations. You got one over on me at SummerSlam. But to say that I'm broken-hearted, that would be a lie. 'Cause I outgrew you. You served your usefulness to your tribal chief, and you knew it. That's why you fled. You got off the tribal chief hype train before I booted your dumbass off. And now you stand side by side with the future of this industry, and I have to agree. One day there will come a day when those guys in the ring are the top. Just like when myself and Marks and the other guy stood shoulder to shoulder to disrupt the system and take over and make ourselves the future, and we end up fighting each other for that spot. The same thing is going to happen to the Nexus. But you say that's years down the road, because you're going to take your spot sooner than that. But the tribal chief ain't getting off his throne for nobody. You know how many people over the past 4 years are trying to take me off this throne? Countless. And I end up taking it back. So if you want to bring your best, come at it. And Heyman goes, Roman, my tribal chief, if I may, this is why you needed a wise man, okay? Because what you're doing right now is not very wise. Myself and the rest of your family, we buttered you up so nicely to make you feel like you were invincible. And you really believe it, because you're gonna walk down here and fight free of the future top stars of this industry and one Oracle, all by yourself. And Roman just looks around, he sees nobody by his side. And Bronson started takes the mic and he goes, can you blame him, Heyman? He spent years holding everybody down with his family. Nobody back there on Monday Night Raw likes his dumb ass. And Roman just smiles. He sort of like wipes his jaw. And he goes, again, you're right. Nobody on Monday Night Raw does like me. I don't need friends. All I need is family. Out come the Usos from the crowd. Super kick to Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. Bronson Steiner charges at them. He ducks their clotheslines. He turns around, double super kick. He staggers into the ropes. Roman Reigns rushes into the ring. He spears Bronson Steiner. Here also the outside, the Usos and Roman then turn to Heyman. And Heyman's on his knees, begging to not be beat up and all that shit. And Trick Williams sort of like grabs him and pulls him to the outside. And he goes, you get your ass back there, Oracle. You get your ass back out there. And then Roman and the Usos look at each other. And they all raise the ones to the sky. And that's how we close. The Usos, of course, are still on SmackDown. That's the reason I said, the entire reason I said nobody on Monday Night Raw likes him is because I wanted to do that. But I want the Usos here for this, but then I want them out of the picture. After this little bit is done. Because I still have things I want them to do on SmackDown. And I also need them out for whatever Roman's doing in the coming months. So, they pop up from SmackDown. There's a reason they didn't get the big entrance. They sort of just popped up from behind, out of the crowd, because they're technically invading the show. Because we stick to the brand split here in these parts. But yeah, Roman Reigns and the Usos raise the ones to the sky to close the show. It's a 92. Sure. Fairly smooth sailing first show back. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I didn't forget a lot, if anything. Yeah. Well, Matt, what you thought of the show? Do let your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you on the other side for Heat, which I also imagine will be a very brief Heat, because if I barely remember what happened on Raw, I don't know what the fuck was happening on Heat. Let me tell you that. Yeah, just a quick Heat here tonight. We start off with a tag team match, Jada and Jade against Ren Sinclair and Kendal Grey, just to get Kendal a nice little appearance on Heat. She's obviously the weak link in the match because she's the least popular, because Ren has had those SmackDown appearances before. Jade and Jada pick up the win over Jaded in 10-13. 57 for Jada, 82 for Jade, 82 for Ren, 37 for Kendal. Jade and Jada did get moved over to SmackDown, I forgot to mention that. I'll have to find something for her to do, I guess. I'm not really in any rush, because you'll notice my opinions on people ebbs and flows. Like, there's peaks and valleys of when I think people are good and when I think people are bad, and let's just say Jade is not in a peak in terms of my opinion of her right now. So I'm not really in much of a rush to find something for her, but she's Jade at the end of the day, so I can't keep beating her or whatever. But yeah, tag team victory over the Ring QCC to give them some spotlight. 76, Kelani Jordan beats Kelsey Cook. Kelsey is another one who, like, she obviously is aligned with Aleister Black, but she barely wrestles, and I'm like, well, I'm not keeping her strong or anything. She was originally going to challenge Florence coming out of WrestleMania, but I changed my mind to just run the Ruby match again, which was probably for the best, because it got 99. But yeah, Kelani beats Kelsey Cook in 9 minutes and 31, 63 for Kelani, 76 for Kelsey. 78 rated tag match. JC Jane and Fallon Henley of Fatal Influence defeat The Temptation. Fallon beats Lola in 13:04. 74 for Fallon, 71 for JC, 57 for Lola, 80 for Mina. Lola and Mina are fun tag team. They are not part of the ECW 10, as I'll brand them. So they will sort of just be bodies in the tag division for a bit. But that's fine, because Lola needs, like, the reps, because she's only getting a 57 at the minute. And Mina is a Joshi, so her stats are really good. So having them as a tag team will be fine. Yeah. And a 72 rated main event. Thunder Rosa defeats Kiana James in 13:33 with a reverse DDT. 78 for Thunder Rosa, 46 for Kiana James. Thunder Rosa is scoring 78. She's doing pretty well. Thunder Rosa is, in fact, in the ECW 10. So need to get her some wins to remind her that, you know, she's scoring 78 and she's doing pretty well. Yeah, very quick Heat, you know. I realized I didn't book any angles on Heat last week when I checked the show in the history thing, and am I fucked starting now? So I guess next week is when regularly scheduled Heat. I was gonna say, but this is regularly scheduled Heat. Where next week is where I will start to try and do some more Heat angles, because I do want to do more Heat angles, because the one I did with Kendal and Zoe was kind of fun and I liked it, and the one with Shayna and Aoi as well. But yes, that is the end of episode 205, I guess. We're back. The World Cup is over. What a waste of time that was, but yeah, it's over now, so hopefully in my free time won't be spent watching that, and I can record instead. So yeah, see you next time for ECW.